Just because you don't like or believe something doesn't mean that it's not true. This is especially true when it comes to fitness and nutrition. And with all the information running rampant in the space, it can be hard to know what's true and what's fake news. In this episode, I'm going to explain 7 unpopular fitness truths that I'm seeing in 2024, so stay tuned. All right, guys, welcome to the Digital Barbell Podcast. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate your time. This is your first time. Welcome. If you've been around for a long time, welcome back. I'm Jonathan. My wife, Blakely, and I own Digital Barbell. We're an online training and nutrition company helping people get in great shape wherever they're at. Our training methodology combines the best of strength training, muscle/bodybuilding, and high-intensity style conditioning, similar to CrossFit, to help people get in the best shape of their life, but also look the part too. Oh, and feel the part too. As far as nutrition goes, we don't believe in restrictive fad-style diets. We don't believe in hardcore restriction. We believe in learning how to eat in a sustainable way to support a healthy body fat level and to make you feel your best. So if that sounds like what you're interested in, you are in the right place. If you'd like to learn more about what it's like to work with us, you can go to digitalbarbell.com and all the information is right there. You can always reach out through social media or send us an email too. All right, let's get straight into inconvenient truth number 1. You don't have to go nuts on junk food to easily gain a few pounds of fat every single year. The truth is, the average adult gains unwanted fat every year, typically 1 to 3 pounds. The average person also lives an average life and eats an average diet. That's what average means, you know. So if you fit the bill of, not too bad, but not super good, you're average, and you can pretty much know what to expect as far as weight gain. But even people who do eat pretty good, whatever that means, can easily find themselves slowly sliding up a pant size every single year. There are 2 main things that make this happen. Number 1, you don't understand the impact that eating highly processed foods and food from restaurants has on weight gain. It really only takes a surplus of about 3,500 calories to gain 1 pound of fat. Going, a little off track on a holiday weekend could easily account for 3,000 to 4,000 extra calories without going crazy or blacking out at an all-you-can-eat buffet. If you go out and get a bacon cheeseburger, a side of fries, and an IPA at a restaurant, followed up with a scoop of ice cream, that could easily be over 2,000 calories, probably more, and that's just one normal meal, not some kind of crazy binge session by any measure. Then maybe you're thinking, all right, well, I already know that cheeseburgers and fries aren't exactly good, but did you know that a healthy salad from Panera might have as many calories as 3 slices of pepperoni pizza? Or what you think of as a healthy acai bowl might be the nutritional equivalent of a basket of fried chicken. Not knowing this stuff can be totally frustrating. It leads to that feeling of, I didn't go crazy, so I don't understand why I gained weight. You're right, you didn't go crazy. The inconvenient truth is that most foods from restaurants, even the healthy options, have a ton of calories that can make you slowly gain weight over time. When you add in holidays, vacations, and other normal shenanigans, you've got the perfect recipe for a creeping waistline if you don't know how to offset those extra calories. The next reason you don't have to go nuts to gain a few pounds of fat every year is you move less every year. The saying goes, your metabolism doesn't slow down, you do. Your natural tendency as you get older is to be more sedentary, more time working behind your computer and unwinding on the couch versus going out for a walk. You hire a lawn service instead of doing it yourself. You order stuff online instead of walking around the store. All of that decreased activity leads to lower calorie burn, making those not so crazy calorie indulgences more likely to lead to weight gain. Okay, on to the next unpopular truth. Getting your steps in and being active is not a good substitute for doing actual workouts. Have you ever said, I couldn't make it to the gym today, but I was pretty active around the house? Or this week was a bust on the training, but I did get my steps in most days. Being active and getting 7,000 to 10,000 steps per day is amazing. It's one of the 17 elements of a stress-free fitness lifestyle that we promote. But make no mistake about it. Getting steps, working in the yard, doing chores, and being active is not a replacement for doing your actual workouts. Every once in a while, it's not a big deal. But if you find yourself slipping into the habit of swapping activity for actually working out, your strength, your muscle mass and your cardio capacity definitely will suffer. Remember, the reason that training makes us stronger, fitter, and more muscular is because of the stress that we apply through our workouts. Not enough stress equals no improvement or even regression. A good sign that you're swapping training for activity too often is that you're seeing unwanted changes in your body composition. More fluff, less buff. Get back to your actual training, my friend. Okay, unpopular truth number 3. The body changes that most people expect to see from running, biking, rowing, swimming, yoga, Pilates, and other group classes only come from lifting weights. We've talked extensively about this on this podcast before, but here's the deal. When it comes to improving your physique, just about everyone wants their own version of the same thing: to have somewhat defined, toned, visible muscles, to actually look like they work out. They don't want to be massive and they don't want to be skinny fat. That look, having defined, visible muscles, has a recipe you must follow if you want to get it. You have to build the muscles that you want to see, and then you have to lose the fat that's covering them to reveal their definition. It really is that simple. However, most people that want to change their physique skip the building part and go straight to the burning part. They do more cardio and eat less food. They'll do yoga or Pilates or boot camps full of high-intensity body weight reps. And while all types of exercise can be beneficial, there truly is only one type of exercise that builds muscle: strength training. Lifting weights while following a program that includes progressive overload is the only stimulus that will cause your muscles to develop in a meaningful way. Hard stop. End of story. Again, I'm not talking about becoming a juiced up bodybuilder. I'm talking about seeing the outline of your triceps in your tank top this summer. I think one common reason people get this wrong is because they see the physique of the instructor that's leading these classes I'm talking about, and they assume that they got those muscles doing the same thing that they're teaching. I can assure you, if the man or woman leading your Peloton class has a nice body, they built it with the barbell, not just the bike. We have a free 5-week training program that will show you exactly how to get started, so you can check the show notes for that and download it for free today. All right, let's move on. Unpopular truth number 4. Stretching a muscle that hurts or feels tight doesn't usually help the matter. Muscle strains, tweaks, injuries, they all stink, but they do happen. And when we're hurt, we want to do 2 things. Number 1, to know what happened so it doesn't happen again. And number 2, for the pain and tightness to go away ASAP. As far as knowing what happened, sometimes you will and sometimes you won't. Life's just like that sometimes. And sometimes in an effort to make the pain go away as quickly as possible, we just automatically jump to the modality of stretching it out, when that might in fact be ineffective or even counterproductive. If you think about it logically, a muscle strain is an injury of overexertion. The fibers of the muscle have been pushed too far and they need to heal. To do that, we need 3 main things: motion, blood flow, and time. But the kind of motion that we need is not extreme. Pushing a strained or sore muscle to its limits with stretching is not helping. Find motions that mimic the natural range of motion of the affected area and do them as fully as you can without increasing pain levels. It's time much better spent than stretching, trust me. If you're someone with chronically tight muscles, consider stretching them using weights. What I mean is that you'll gain more lasting flexibility in your hamstrings by doing Romanian deadlifts than you will by just doing toe touches, for example. And if you're someone with a chronically tight neck and upper back, you might consider doing an audit of your computer workstation and the posture you take when you're looking at your phone. Those just might be the culprit. Strengthening your upper back with exercises like face pulls, band pull-aparts, and rows are great, but there's no neck stretch that will counteract 8 to 10 hours of slumping forward with your head down all day. All right, unpopular truth number 5. When it comes to weight gain or loss, when you eat only matters to the point that it affects how much you eat. I have to admit it, there was a time that I did not understand this, and therefore I did believe it too. I used to think that if you ate food, especially something, bad, and then you were inactive, like when you go to bed, you wouldn't burn any of those calories and they would be stored as body fat. So following that logic, you shouldn't eat past a certain time of day, otherwise you'll just end up gaining weight. Maybe you've believed that in the past, or maybe you still do today. Well, you can take a big sigh of relief and push your dinner time back to 8 p.m. like the French do without worrying about it leading to weight gain. The truth is that weight or fat gain happens over a much longer term than what happens overnight while you're sleeping. Your body is constantly shuttling glucose, fat, and other nutrients through your blood in and out of your fat cells to meet your energy and calorie needs. The truth is that activity is a very small part of the daily calories that you burn, otherwise known as your total daily energy expenditure. Most of the food that you eat eat is burned off just by doing things like breathing or digesting and circulating your blood. You do all those even while you're sleeping. Well, maybe you're thinking, yeah, but I always weigh more the next day when I eat late at night. Well, yeah, of course. The weight of that food is still in your stomach and in your intestines, but that doesn't mean that you gained fat. Fat gain or loss isn't determined by food timing. It's controlled over the longer term balance between how much you eat, measured in calories, and how much energy you expend. It's called energy balance. We teach our nutrition coaching clients that when they eat doesn't matter, so long as their choices support their goals. Which brings me to a point that I need to bring up. When was the last time that you scarfed down 5 Honeycrisp apples while watching the Food Network in the dark? Or how often do you wake up stressed in the middle of the night and polish off an entire bag of spinach? I'm guessing never. The thing about nighttime eating is that we tend to gravitate towards cookies, ice cream, crackers, cereal, chips, and candied popcorn. And when you do, it's easy to eat more than you should. And unfortunately, the calories in those tasty late night treats, they throw off that energy balance equation while placing the blame on the time that they're eaten. Giving yourself a time cutoff for eating each day can be helpful if this is something that you struggle with. It's also important not to make these foods completely off limits. You'll end up building up so much anticipation and desire for them that you'll eat way too much of them when you finally give in, which everyone does. You'll tell yourself that you need to, get it out of your system, and then you'll get back on track later, which never actually works. We teach our clients to allow themselves to make all foods a part of their diet, including the stuff that you might think would be off limits. Okay, I went really long on that one, so let's go on. Number 6, low-carb diets are no more effective for weight loss than other interventions. Oh yeah, this is a big one. I can take this truth 2 different ways, the sciencey route or the logical route. I'll try a mix of both. If you like cold hard research, it has been done to death on this topic, so I'll put the link to 4 studies in the show notes below. My personal favorite study is a randomized control trial with 481 participants that concluded that cutting carbs was no more successful for weight loss and keeping it off, so long as calories and protein are equated. Let's get logical and figure out why this might be the case. In the first couple weeks of a low-carb diet, you are probably going to lose a lot of weight, and this makes you think that you are crushing life and losing fat like it is your job. Low carb for life, right? But that honeymoon period of rapid weight loss is almost exclusively made up of your body depleting itself of a bunch of water weight. The word carbohydrate pretty much tells the story. Every gram of carbohydrate stored in your muscles and in your liver binds with a few grams of water too. Notice that I didn't say fat, I said water. So as you drop water, you drop weight, but you're not necessarily losing fat. Remember a couple minutes ago when you learned what causes fat loss? Energy balance. You could even eat a diet made entirely of carbs and lose weight as long as your total calories are in check. In fact, a crazy professor of nutrition in Kansas lost 27 pounds in 2 months eating carb-filled Twinkies and Little Debbie's. How so? He made sure he was in a negative energy balance or a calorie deficit by only eating 1,800 calories per day. I 100% would not recommend stocking up on Twinkies for weight loss, but I'm here to tell you that you don't have to eliminate carbs to lose weight. In fact, if all you do to lose weight is cut out the carbs, what do you think is going to happen when you can no longer resist the smell of fresh homemade flour tortillas or French bread? You're going to gain all the weight back. If it's not something you can see yourself doing for the foreseeable future, you'd be better off hooking up with a qualified coach who can help you figure out a more sustainable approach to reaching your goals. If you're someone like us and our clients, you also have physique and performance goals. Guess what powers the type of training that we usually do? Carbs. We need plenty of carbs on hand. Okay, this final one is quite misunderstood and possibly even controversial, so let's finish off number 7. Stress and hormones like cortisol control fat gain or loss only to the extent that they affect your appetite and your psychologically driven eating. Stress and hormones are like your annoying younger sibling. One minute they're sweet, and the next they're unpredictable, crazy, and making you want to put them in a chokehold. Sometimes it seems like they're just acting up to make us react to them. Or maybe this is a terrible analogy, and I was the only younger brother who would intentionally push his sister's buttons just to get her to do something that would get her in trouble. The main hormones that get talked about in the context of health and fitness are testosterone, estrogen, and cortisol. If you know quite a bit about the subject of nutrition and fat loss, you might also throw leptin and ghrelin in the mix. Those are the two hormones that control your appetite and your satiety. I don't claim to be an expert on hormones, but I know enough to understand the mechanisms by which they affect metabolism and fat storage and oxidation. The main misunderstanding regarding hormones is that we give them too much credit for how they make us gain weight or prevent us from losing weight. If I can go back to the younger brother example, as an evil little brother, I would purposely get in my sister's face and make gross noises, just setting the stage for her to want to smack me. I didn't make her smack me, but I sure made her want to do so. If she acted on that desire to, let me have it, she'd be in trouble. If somehow she resisted the urge, I'd just move on and find somebody else to annoy, and she'd stay in good graces with our parents. Stress and hormones kind of act as professional stage setters for the actions that cause weight gain, and they can certainly also make you want to smack somebody. If your adrenals flood you with cortisol after a stressful meeting with your boss, you don't just gain weight. But if that stress makes you decide to eat 6 of those crumble cookies that are in the break room, you will. If your estrogen is all out of whack because you're going through perimenopause, you'll be sitting front row on an emotional roller coaster that will tempt you to skip the gym and find comfort in food and Netflix. But your fluctuating hormones have no power to make you gain fat without actually eating the food or skipping the workout. Men, did you get your T levels checked only to find out that they're in the tank? Well, that might explain your lackluster energy levels and zero motivation to go grab the barbell. But again, on its own, the hormones can't take all the blame. Hormones don't cause action directly. Work, finances, relationships, and life stress, those things make fitness harder because they make taking consistent, positive, and healthy actions harder. Stress crushes your sleep, which makes you extra hungry. Stress makes you want to curl up on the couch instead of curling your dumbbells. Stress makes you want to eat and drink alcohol to cope. But stress doesn't cause you to gain fat without you taking action on it. Hormones will affect your mood, your motivation, your energy, your appetite, the way you physically feel, and to some degree where you store body fat. But beyond a little retained water weight that isn't fat, they don't have the power to stop you from losing weight and being the healthiest you yet. They sure can make it more challenging, but the actions that you choose to take are still well within your control. At the end of the day, you get to choose what to do with this information. One choice is to take the role of the victim in the story. The victim is powerless and suffers the fate of whatever circumstances in life have aligned to hold them back. The victim never transforms. I'd recommend taking the role of the hero in your story. The hero accepts the challenges stacked against them and focuses on a way to win in spite of them. I hope you choose wisely. If you need support and a common sense plan to get in the best shape of your life, check the show notes for this episode and apply for coaching today. Hope this was helpful. Have a great day.